One. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is BLB, Bill's Live Broadcast, and you know what time it is. It's BT time, okay? Ben Tang is in the house. Ben Tang, okay? Sorry about that, Ben. He's waiting in the green room right now, okay? And he's probably going, oh, man, he mispronounced my name. Okay, so anyway, folks, you know Ben. If you've been following up on the posts that I've been sending off to you, Ben is Fitness Best Asia Awards Group X Training Excellence, okay? And he has some things to talk about. So let's bring Ben on right now. What's up, Ben?
Morning. Too many bees all at once.
What's that, Ben?
Too many bees.
I know. Bring Ben on to Bill's Live Broadcast. Okay.
I wish they had a day of the week that starts with B. Then we'll have a seriously alliterative day today.
Wouldn't that be cool if they had a day that? Okay, so since we're gonna go there, since we're just talking here, what would be the name of that day if it's gonna start with a B? See, you brought it up, dude. Like I said, we're just gonna go for it. What would you call it?
I honestly don't know. But since we're talking about group fitness and we're talking about exercise, how about like a buff day?
A buff day or birthday?
A buff day. Well, to pun on your your Facebook page.
Okay, so what would we do? What would we do on a buff day?
I don't know. Just
okay. I tell you what. Before we go there with the exercise on buff day, what would we need to eat on a buff day?
Oh man, just anything that gives us lots of energy to get a good workout, I reckon.
Okay. Which brings us to something about you. What did you eat this morning, dude? And we're gonna get on into some more important stuff later on.
Yeah, this is more superfluous. I had a couple of bananas and some toast and a couple of eggs.
A couple of bananas, some toast, and a couple of eggs.
Yes.
Okay. Now you know what's really interesting, Ben, is I just read something about working out, and this is something that can you go ahead and tell us a little bit more about this? I heard that actually eating bruised bananas is better for breakdown in your body when you're using for energy than ripe bananas or normal bananas. Have you heard anything about that?
Really? Wow. I'm gonna have to go Google that later then.
Yeah, I just saw that. I just saw it. You brought up the whole thing with bananas, and I just saw this yesterday about bruised bananas. So that means the bananas that are kind of dark already are supposed to be better for you than the normal bananas. And I think this is if you are during the day or right after a workout, because the normal bananas, I guess the sugar breakdown is different than the glucose breakdown. And anyways, a bunch of science nonsense. Let's get off this subject. Stupid. Okay, Ben, now let's do something, okay? Because you mentioned, you and I were talking yesterday via chat, and you mentioned that you wanted to say something in your acceptance speech during the Fitness Best Asia Awards, right? Okay, so here it goes. Hang on. And getting Fitness Best Asia Awards for Excellent Group X Trainer, Ben Tang. Okay, dude, it's your shot. Go for it. What's your acceptance speech? Go for it.
You're great at drum roll with the accessories and stuff. Actually, the big thing that was running through my head was how the group fitness industry has evolved so much since I started way back. We shall not be too precise with the dates. And it's amazing how much it has grown and how things have changed. And sometimes the more things change, the more things stay the same. We still have lots of people who are craving for that type of group experience that we have, and the type of energy that you can't quite replicate in outside of a group fitness setting. People are still looking for that. And there's a lot more. I'm sorry?
No, go ahead. I'm just saying that's interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah. And plus, nowadays, a lot of the group fitness programs are looking to the traditional personal training realm when it comes to information and knowledge to back up what they've known intrinsically to be true. It's really, really interesting, actually.
Cool. Okay, so that's your acceptance speech?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to ask you. Okay, that's cool. You know what? And I did a kind of a no-no. I I said, that's excellent, right in the middle of your acceptance speech, and you're not supposed to do that. So my bad. I'm sorry, dude.
No worries.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you about that whole Group X liking from people on the outside versus something that you cannot get. But first of all, Ben, you're still on stage. You're still giving your acceptance speech. And there's another thing that you said that you needed to work out. And so I just want to make sure. See, I have to keep you accountable. You said that you needed to work on your Miss Universe wave and your single tear cry. All right? So give it your best shot, dude, because after this, we get serious, okay? So you're still on stage. Okay? Give me your best wave. Go for it. Go for it. All right. That's excellent. Okay. Now, breathe in a little bit because this is going to take a bit. You got to get the emotion going. Okay? Single tear, though, dude. Don't go from both eyes. Single tear. All right?
I didn't complete my acting school, so this is not happening today.
It's not going to happen today? Okay, so you're not going to do like what they do in Hollywood and spit on your finger and do all that kind of nonsense, right?
Yeah, not that.
Okay, come on down from the stage, dude. Your acceptance speech is over.
You got way better access to your emotions, and plus, it's hanging out with you online. It's just happiness from here, man.
Okay, cool. All right, Ben. Hey, let's go back to that. Just now, you were mentioning about how people are drawn to and they get more from a group. Now, how would you call it, Ben? Would you call it Group X, Group? What would be the proper name for it in terms of group exercise, Group X? What would you say?
I would say group fitness.
Okay.
That name has gone quite a bit of an evolution, hasn't it?
It has, hasn't it?
It used to be called aerobics.
Oh, seriously? Okay, now wait. Now share it, because you said that it's taken on quite a journey in terms of group fitness, aerobics, and all that. Can you share with us that kind of journey from back then to today?
I think that one of the biggest changes has been the gender makeup, because back in the 80s, it used to be ladies and leg warmers and unitards, and there will be a group of ladies attending the classes. You rarely see men in classes. But these days, especially with having brought in things like martial arts and weights into the actual weightlifting into the group fitness room, we see more men entering the zone of group fitness. And that's really encouraging, because there's so much to be said about that group mentality, the energy that you get from group fitness classes.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of the gender change with the advent of weights and this type of a thing, how is the breakdown nowadays? Are there men that are leaving the group exercise fitness arena? Are there more women that are coming in? And why? Why are they moving away from the other traditional styles and getting into group exercise?
I can't say with a lot of certainty or any sort of authority. I'm just it's very this is just specifically to me, because from what I observe, the more men coming into classes, just because there are the very traditional aspects of fitness, like I was talking about just now, martial arts and weights training, that's come into the group fitness arena, and that has attracted a lot of men, and it's changed the way that women identify with coming into group fitness. It's very empowering for ladies, because it used to be very aerobics based type of classes. So it's a lot of like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you do grapevines and you do jumping jacks, and with the advent of the step board and the Reebok slide, that was still a lot of cardio based classes. But now there's a shift in the emphasis on HIIT training. There's a shift on emphasis in weights components, weightlifting components, which a lot of research has shown is very beneficial when you do in tandem with cardio type of classes.
Now that's interesting, because you said that it's empowering to women. So because I know that in the women's world of fitness, there's a lot of misconceptions about, okay, if I start lifting weights and whatnot, I'm going to get big and all of this. What's the most empowering aspect of group fitness for women?
Again, I can't speak from the women's point of view. It's just what I've heard, that for ladies, when they actually lift weights, it feels really different from the traditional type of aerobics, and that's part of what feels empowering, because they don't feel like, oh, it's I'm doing something that's not strong. And when you talk about things like martial arts, it's also such a traditionally aggressive type of sport and endeavor. And to the general public, especially to the women in general, they usually go, yeah, that's kind of not for me. If they wanted to, they'll go to martial arts schools to do that. Whereas the fact that it's put into a group fitness setting has allowed a lot of women to be exposed to this, and they realize that, hey, it's not as crazy as I thought. Oh, I find that it's a lot more fun and a lot more engaging and very empowering, because it tells them that I can do this.
So because you're the master now of group exercise, dude. I mean, seriously. And I've been following all of the things that you've been doing, and my hat is off to you, even though I'm not going to take my hat off, but my hat is off to you, because Ben, this is exactly what Fitness Best Asia Awards was all about, the people selecting individuals like yourself to help empower them, as you mentioned, and to go ahead and give them an experience whereby they didn't have an opportunity to do that before. And I think that's really cool, especially in your case, because that means that you have to drive the passion of lots of people. It's not just one person. You're talking about lots of people. So let me ask you, when you're in a situation like that, and you were mentioning at the top of our conversation here about how you wish that they would, maybe it'd be cool to have a day named starting with a, okay? So, and you've mentioned about how group fitness has changed over the years. I've seen a lot of group fitness exercises now. And I see that. Hold on a second. Let me just turn this off. I think feedback going on here. Okay. Ben, do you have your phone on?
No, it's on silent.
Okay. Let me just because
we're getting the microphones.
Mic feedback here.
Oh dear. Okay.
Hold on a second. That's what happens sometimes when we go live. Okay.
Is that better?
Did you do something on your side?
Nope.
Okay. Well, we'll just go. I think we're okay.
Okay.
So, Ben, do you hear any feedback from your side?
Nope. It's perfectly clear here. Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, here's the question. So, group exercise, group fitness has taken this long journey. So, I've seen a lot of classes. There's a lot of equipment. There's step boards. There's kettlebells. There's stuff that I can't even name. How important is this for the group exercise classes? Because as you were mentioning earlier, it used to be basically about aerobics. I mean, the most that you would have is small dumbbells and benches and whatnot. But there seems to be this accumulation of stuff inside of classes. How do you see that affecting the group fitness in a positive, negative, whatever? What's your view on that?
It really depends on both the application and the instructor. Because I was mentioning just now that we're bringing a lot of PT based type of knowledge into the group fitness group, which is a really great thing, because then there's a lot of technical knowledge that can back up what we are already currently doing. And if instructors take it upon themselves to arm themselves with knowledge and teach and present to the members in such a way that it's not only easy to understand and grasp, but also palatable and very applicable to what their fitness conditions are, what their fitness needs are, and it's engaging, then I feel that equipment or no equipment, that works.
So in terms of all that's going on with group fitness, what do you think needs to be changed? I mean, being the master yourself in terms of group exercise, I'm sure you've seen classes right, left, and center. Where are people getting it right, and where are people getting it wrong? So, for example, if I'm a consumer and I'm going to a class, I need to know what to look out for. How do I find a person like you? What should I do the moment I step into a box gym? Can you help me discover the best place to get the best group fitness exercise?
Well, the best piece of advice I can give is try, because sometimes you wouldn't know whether you really like something until you actually physically do it. And always look for places where the coaches are paying attention to you, where in a group fitness class is there an introduction to let you know what's about to come up. And if you put your hand up and say, I'm a newcomer, do they pay attention to you and give you a little bit more focused coaching? So then you know what are the options to take, and you know from the first class the lay of the land and getting an understanding of why you're doing certain things. I reckon that's really important.
So in terms of you, what do you think is your gift in terms of group fitness and how you're able to share this experience with your client versus someone else? So essentially, how did you wind up being the winner of this award?
Oh, I honestly don't know. It's still a bit of a shock. It's still quite surprising, because I mean, you all you do in this job is you focus on the job. You go into classes and you teach, and you don't really look for accolades like this. Most of the recognition you want to get is from the members. That they create the change in their lives, and I personally find that the most satisfying. That's one of the best things that can happen to you as a group fitness instructor. That when you see members come for classes and they just create such a big change in their lives, not just physically, but the effect it has emotionally, and then that effect radiates out to the rest of their social circle, their families. It's quite amazing what effect that has.
But there's something about you when you teach a class. What do you consider your specialty? And it's okay. It's okay to be self-congratulatory here, because what we want to do is we want to find out. For example, when people, like you said earlier on, okay, coming to my platform, Bill's live broadcast, it's because we're having fun. I want to try to bring a fun element, just a chit-chat element to this whole platform. What is it that Ben Tang brings to a group fitness class that you may not get elsewhere?
Oh. If I were to be more specific with regards to formatting, one of my favorite classes to teach is body combat, and that class feels really empowering. And I reckon what I bring to the program and to the class is that I try to live that sort of empowering feel when it comes to the technique. So I really go all out with the members in the punches and the kicks, and I put them in a space where they feel comfortable to pull back when they need to. And then those who are there for a really good workout, I look them in the eye and go, how much do you want it today? And that I love to do in a class.
So when you're doing that, is it designed for self-defense? Is it designed for strengthening? Is it designed for weight loss? What would be the premise of it? Or is it just designed to have people get together, feel empowered, and to share this experience? Because I know that a lot of people, they skip from class to class to class, and they have certain objectives. And if they get disappointed, it's probably because they're not sure about what the class is about. So for your body combat class, what can individuals expect from that experience with you?
Okay, what's great about body combat is that it targets a lot of different aspects of fitness. Obviously, being a cardio style class, 60-minute martial arts inspired cardio class, you really lift your heart rate, so that allows your cardiovascular system to get a good kick. And then because of the way that it uses martial arts movements, you are toning and activating a lot of muscles that you don't get to activate. Because you do realize that a lot of us sit for long hours. Well, maybe not you, because you're standing right now, aren't you?
That's because I sit too much. That's why I'm standing.
Exactly. So you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's that sort of sedentary lifestyle that we need to get people out of. And I think that body combat does that really, really well because of the different planes of motion that we get them to use when they're in a body combat class. And then there are also aspects that that work muscular endurance, because there's lots of leg tracks in there that derives from capoeira, and it's really cool how many aspects of fitness you get to do, and sometimes even flexibility, because you need that to be able to do some of the kicks that where you need to reach quite far and you need to lean, and it's such an awesome program.
Okay, that's great. Now, Ben, that was because you mentioned something here. It was kind of a toss away, capoeira. Okay, is capoeira kind of still cool to do in classes? Because for those of you who, okay, so let me do a shout out right now. This is Bill's live broadcast, and I'm here with Ben Tang, and we're talking to the man who is the group exercise award winner this year in Asia, the rest of the world, the solar, maybe not the universe just yet, but the solar system will just keep it right there. Okay. So anyway, Ben Tang is on here and he's sharing with us about his journey in group fitness, and he's giving us information about how we can empower ourselves and be better individuals in choosing the best group fitness classes. And for those people who are just tuning in or people who are checking out the replay right now, make sure you share this information and Ben Tang's platform with the world, okay? You share and follow, because we're going to be coming on multiple times a week, all right? So we're going to get back to Ben. So Ben, in terms of capoeira, all right, is it still popular now?
It seems to have sort of plateaued off, and I reckon that including it in any sort of group fitness program will be a good idea, because, again, like I said just now, it takes you out of that sitting posture, and the fact that it uses such infectious music allows people to get a sense of rhythm and that connection that you don't really get when you're just doing martial arts without any sort of music. And I think the inclusion in body combat is ingenious, and a continued contribution of capoeira in body combat is really good, because, again, that music, and plus it's such a good leg workout, and plus, because you sit all day, your legs are falling asleep, you don't get to use your legs. It's a really great way for you to connect to your foundation of your body.
You know what's really cool about that also, Ben, is that body combat, there's a base of body combat. So in other words, when you're punching, when you're kicking, that's a foundation that you can't really mess up, right? I mean, it's right there. So what you do is it's sort of like having a body, putting a suit on if that body is going to work, putting on smart casual if you're going out. The body remains the same. And so what's really great about body combat is that you can add all those elements. What I'm seeing now is we're seeing, like, there's other dance-based programs. There are hanging, swinging, all this kind of stuff that kind of breaks away and becomes a bit stunt-oriented, and so to speak, or like talent skills-oriented. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that progression in terms of group fitness?
Well, to me, anything that gets people moving is a good thing. That to me is the biggest issue right now, because people are not moving enough. Specifically to anything that requires a lot more skills, I'd say why not? Plus, if you are fulfilling or you're satisfying a group of people who want to try something adventurous, to try something that's out of the ordinary, why not? As long as safety issues are being adhered to, the instructor is able to coach people through it safely, I say go for it.
I love it. And that's what's great, people, for those people who are watching in right now. What Ben is saying here is that as long as you do something where you're moving, and I think that's key, Ben, right? Because individuals will get out there and they'll think that they have to be experts in any of the particular modalities that they're joining. But what you're suggesting is, look, just get up and move, and let the instructor worry about your safety and the skill level. Is that correct?
Yeah. And plus, if you are a repetitive attender, as in you continually attend classes, it allows you to learn more and more and more each time you attend classes, to listen specifically to what the instructor says. So you're actually building a sort of a skills vocabulary, that you understand more of what you're doing, understand why you're doing, and that creates that connection to your body. And I personally find that's very empowering, because from the sitting that we do all day, your body shuts down, your body does not get involved in anything. And then you have this 1 hour where you get to connect to your bodies on its most fundamental and most basic level. I think that's so important, and we are all in such desperate need of that these days.
Brilliant. All right, Ben, now, in terms of group fitness versus one-on-one, what's the biggest difference between the two?
because right now, my work has evolved into specifically more PT based because I'm working as the fitness training manager at Fitness First in Singapore. So I'm actually gearing more towards the education side for PTs. And I've realized that group fitness, a lot of times, is focused a lot on encouraging people, motivating people. There's not still, at least in Singapore, not quite enough of the technical expertise. Whereas on the other hand, for one-on-one, for PTs, they're very fixated on the technical aspects and the programming. Then there's not enough emphasis on the soft skills, like how you actually coach, what are the ways that you can get across to people of different characteristics, of different personalities, and it becomes quite rigid. So what we're trying to do here is actually to marry both, to bring the technical expertise more into the group fitness setting and to empower the PTs with more of the engagement and the group fitness spirit, for the lack of a better word.
Now that's really interesting because you're so correct me if I'm wrong. I just want to clear it up for everyone that's watching. There seems to be a bit of a gap between group fitness professionals dealing with the technical aspects of training, whereby the personal training professionals may have a slight gap with dealing with group individual settings from a personal level. Is that correct?
Yep, and also the ability to translate the same set of information to different personalities using different avenues, like how you would coach, certain words you would use, or certain personalities tend to like details, or certain personalities tend to be more engaging, and how we would go about satisfying these two different groups of people.
That's interesting. In terms of the group fitness and the technical aspects, so if you can just, what is like maybe one or two things that an individual right now, let's say an individual right now doesn't have the opportunity to take the classes that you're taking in order to, because dude, you take everything, man. You're like, gosh, I mean, it's like all over the place, like one of those hamsters going into one of those mazes. But yes, there may be individuals out there that have not progressed to your level yet. So what could be the two tips that you could give those group fitness individuals in order to up their game technically? And then I'm going to ask you the same thing for personal trainers. What would be maybe two tips that you could give to personal training professionals in which to up their game when they get ready to go into the group fitness setting?
So for the group fitness teachers, if they don't already have a basic exercise science understanding, to go do one of those courses, or the internet. The internet is such an amazing resource. Be very careful, however, when you go online and read one article. Always look for three articles about the same topic, because then you'll find a more balanced approach to the opinions that people have online. Never just get your facts from one source. So then when you have more information, you can decide for yourself based on all that information what works for you. And I think that information is very helpful, because then it helps you to understand in a group fitness setting, why are we doing certain things? And from there, you can translate it even better to the members in front of you.
Okay, so first thing is individuals should Google online to help them. Okay.
Yes.
So if they're gonna Google, Ben, what would they be looking for in terms of, let's just go with the group fitness professionals first. What would they be looking for in order to help them technically? Would it be like, for example, look up apparatus for weight-bearing exercises, look up stretching, look up body combat vocabulary? What would they be looking for? Just one or two things that would help them.
It depends on what programs they're teaching. If it's specifically weights-based type of group fitness classes, they should Google things like muscular endurance, things about specific muscles being worked. If they're doing a cardio class, they might want to research about the different energy systems to understand how the body harnesses energy to produce actions and movements. If it were a yoga-based class, they might want to research more about the physiology, so they understand how the body structures work and connect one to another, and possibly during transitions, what are the different physics involved, because you can go quite technical into levers and loads and the way the weight is being transitioned. All these things are actually quite interesting. I could go on forever, and you obviously you will know what I'm talking about. That it could be a rabbit hole. The moment you start researching, you could keep going and going, isn't it?
Which is good though, right? Because once individuals start doing this, they actually self-perpetuate their knowledge, which is kind of cool. Okay, so I'm gonna recap what you said, because I asked for 2, you gave us 4. Yeah, okay. First thing you mentioned in terms of Googling, for those people who are out there who are group fitness experts who want to up your game technically, Ben was just mentioning, look up in terms of if you're a weight based, in other words, if you have apparatus in terms of dumbbells and this type of thing, look up things in terms of energy systems was one of them, okay? Look up things in terms of, let's say, for example, if it's yoga, physiology, okay, and endurance. Look up these types of things. Okay, actually, it's 3. The fourth one was transitions, okay? I used a different word, but transitions and these types of things. And that's brilliant, Ben, because that's what we need. That's what we need as individuals in the professional industry, is to understand what should we go after, because there's a lot of confusion out there, right? And you're helping clear that up. Now, that's for the technical side for the group fitness professionals. What about the personal trainers? Because now we're talking about behavior-based communication skills, how to facilitate, happiness in a class and all this kind of stuff. What would be a couple of tips that you would give for personal training pros in order to up their game when they go into the group training arena?
Well, I reckon that it's not just a as arena. It's also a way to the individual one-to-one mind. Just going into soft skills-based type of education. Things about understanding different personality types and what they respond to, how would you frame information, or whether you would even give very detailed information, and specifically for PTs as well, about just interpersonal skills, because we tend to want to focus so much on the technical aspects on, what's the latest research about exercise science and exercise methodology, that we forget that sometimes it's not the things that we know, it's how we convey it across, how we package the information that can land the most effectively for that specific type of personality.
I like that. Interpersonal skills, so that you're not always focusing on the technical stuff. Ben, you just wrapped that up this really nicely, because that's really important. I mean, and you're right. People will get, it's sort of like the shiny new object syndrome, as I call it, where you're always trying to get something new, but it's really quite fundamental. It's dealing with individuals, dealing with human beings and understanding. And those interpersonal skills, as you are such an expert at, you learn to look at several people and understand behavior of several people. And I'm sure it must not be easy, right?
No, not at all. It takes a lot of practice, and it's a lot of trial and error when it comes to reading people's body language and the way that respond to what you say. Then it allows you to shape your information delivery in such a way that it works very well for that particular individual. Actually, speaking of individuality, the other aspect that again, I'm going back to that sedentary lifestyle idea again.
Yes.
That a lot of us have got bodies that have been in a way ravaged by sedentary lifestyle, that we need to look at people's bodies as individual situations rather than taking just the typical, I know this training methodology, I'm going to just dump it on the member without any modifications. That's I reckon is another aspect. And I think that ties back to recognizing each individual for who they are, not just in terms of personality, but also understanding their needs, their specific needs, physiological needs. And I reckon that, especially the market in Singapore, we're really beginning to bring that to the forefront in terms of awareness. And that is so awesome, because that will be what really changes how the fitness industry services the general public.
You know, I love that, Ben, because you're absolutely correct in that we have to bring the message forward to help people understand that there is a way of helping individuals in a better way instead of keeping silent, right? That's pretty much what you're suggesting. Yeah. Okay. Which segues beautifully. Ooh. Okay, dude. This was your quote, which is perfect. Can you read that? Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Martin Luther King Jr., who's dear to my heart as well. You know, and I love that quote, Ben, and I found that on your page. And so this kind of ties in because you're very outspoken in terms of trying to bring knowledge to individuals and kind of like uncloaking the stuff that's been hidden for so long. What does that statement mean to you? I mean, even if it's not in the fitness genre, tie it in with your life journey and what you believe, because you've given us a great deal of information about fitness. Now we're going down to the person element. Now you and I are sitting here talking about you and I. So Ben, what does that mean to you? That statement? Why did you put that on your site?
I think this was, and allow me to get a little bit political here.
Go for it.
That was the quote that kept coming up when during the 8 years of the Obama administration, that there was a lot of negativity being directed at him, and he still kept standing up and talking about the things that he believed in. And I thought that this quote really jumped out at me to show that when you live a life of consequence, when you live the life of influence, when you're in such a privileged position of having people hear you, you need to speak about things that matter. Things like, I mean, in my case, specifically fitness, because we cannot underestimate the power of a healthy body that functions well, that allows people to actually live their lives the way they want to. And then all the other social issues as well. If you're in a position of power to speak up, to say something, to address an injustice, to bring attention to an area that maybe has been neglected or has been swept under the rug, you should.
And what are some of these things that you feel have been swept under the
rug? It's interesting that you just brought that up, because I was just watching a commencement speech. No, it wasn't a commencement speech. It was graduation for one of the universities in the US, and they invited Dame Helen Mirren to speak, and she's wicked funny and crazy witty, and she mentioned about things that are very gender related, and the crux of what she said was about equality. The way that women have been treated, it's amazing how the lack of equality is still so garishly obvious. Just simple things like the ways that women are being treated online versus how a man is being treated online. Just by simply posting the same type of picture, it's actually quite shocking.
So in that term,
sorry,
when you're as you mentioned about the way women are being treated online versus men. So and you were getting ready to say something because you kind of left it hanging there. So carry on there, man.
Yeah, and how calling yourself a feminist somehow is a dirty word, that they say that being feminist is being anti-men. No, not at all. Being a feminist means that you are advocating equality in every aspect of life between men and women. That they should be paid equally, that they should be treated equally, that they should get the same opportunities. And it's just baffling in this day and age that people are still being treated differently for the color of their skin, for their gender, for their sexual orientation, for just being different. That's just still absolutely baffles me.
And so in terms then of this whole thing. How does it apply to your life? I mean, you're making observations on the outside. Have you ever been in a situation where you have been looked upon differently, either in terms of fitness, in terms of your personal life, and these types of things, where individuals out there who are going through that challenge of, okay, everyone is saying that I'm different. People are saying that what I'm doing is not the norm, and I don't have anyone to go to. How can you help us with any experience that you have in the industry, your personal life, that might help shine some light and empower individuals like ourselves?
This is where I have to be very, very thankful that I have not been on the receiving end of any obvious or blatant type of discrimination or any type of disadvantage. In fact, I've been really, really lucky that every step along the way of my fitness journey, I've met the right people and they've given me the opportunities to progress to where I am today. So I can't speak from the point of disadvantage, but what I can say is, when you feel that you are alone in what you're doing, find somebody who speaks your language, find somebody who shares the same experiences. And that's what's amazing about the internet, that it has the potential to have such a big support group. The flip side is that there can be a place as well where cyberbullying has become a very, very big issue. And that's part of where the contrary voices have come out and become really loud to a lot of positive movements. So keep the faith in what you're doing. Find people who believe in the same things as you do and believe in the same positive effects that you want to have in the world around you, and continue to work towards it.
The reason why I ask you this is because being group exercise, you deal with a lot of people. It's almost like you're on a political platform, rightfully so, because your message goes out to so many individuals, and you don't know from where you stand on that podium, you don't know who is having what thought, but you speak in a way that you gather individuals. So everything that you say, everything that you're about in terms of an award is much different than being a personal trainer where you're hitting one person at a time. You're dealing with large groups of people. So in terms of your suggestion for people to reach out and find other individuals that share your common interests to help you through whatever challenges that you're going through is brilliant. I mean, and it's so important. So that's the reason why I asked you that, man. So
I reckon that's a really good segue, because there's something very, very encouraging when you see a group of people who have not known each other before they step into the group fitness room, and they find something that they really enjoy and they enjoy together. That I find that sense of community, that sense of being able to relate to somebody else. That's something so intangible that you can't really put a price on. And I'm sure that you can feel that as well when you interact with a group of people that share that common ground and that passion.
Absolutely. Now, Ben, but here's the thing. Some people have a big problem getting up in front of a lot of people. They may have a message that needs to be heard. What would you suggest to those people who have this fear of speaking in front of people, this fear of being in the limelight, yet they have a message that we must hear? How would you help those people? Because we need more of them. We need more people like you.
Yeah, I totally agree that when we have voices of dissent that are being clamped down just because they fear repercussions or they fear that they might not be understood or be heard, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I would say empower yourself. Find people online that share the same ideas as you. And again, I need to emphasize that it's positive and constructive ideas, and not just tearing things down for the sake of tearing it down. And I'm speaking with regards to extremists groups like ISIS that just did that horrendous thing in Manchester. And that's not what I'm talking about. Those ideologies should be condemned outright. I'm talking about people who have ideas that can help the world, that can build people up, that can create a sense of empowerment that can create a sense of making things better for everybody else. That
how have you done that? Because you're very natural. We take for granted the things that we do really well. How have you been able to give that voice? So, okay, put it another way. Have you ever been in a situation where you were nervous to get in front of individuals, where you didn't know what you were going to do? And when you were in that situation, what did you do?
I kept focusing on the message I wanted to deliver, the power of the message, and understood that it was not about me, that I was just a conduit through which the message was going to be conveyed. And if I focused on that, that took a lot of pressure off me, because the goal is to get the message across to them, to the people in front of me. And I reckon that helped me be less nervous.
That's wonderful. Folks, if you're listening in, this is a huge takeaway. I asked Ben, and if you've seen it already, then you know, but I'm going to repeat it because it's worth repeating. When you're nervous, when you have an issue with being in front of people to get out your message, focus on the message. Don't focus on yourself. If the message is sincere, if it's something that will help someone, then you're good to go. Right, Ben?
Yeah, definitely. Because I believe when you believe and you understand the reasoning behind that belief, it is powerful enough to transcend any type of nerves, any type of reservations that you have. And I reckon that one of the best examples to bring up is, I mean, it's a bit cliche for me to bring up, but Barbra Streisand. She is famous for being one of the most nervous performers. But when she gets on stage and she starts singing that first note, she immerses herself in that talent, that incredible talent that she has, and the focus of her wanting to entertain her fans in front of her, and the nerves go away.
So would that be one of your tips, Ben, in terms of people who are teaching group fitness, is to think about these lessons?
Yep. Just focus on what is it you want your people, the members in front of you, to get. What is it that they should focus on today? How do you want them to feel? What are the big takeaways, or the big benefits, or the exercises, or the specific methodology they want to promote that day? Focus on that.
And you know what's great about that, Ben, is you're not just talking about fitness. You're transcending everything, whether or not it's politics, whether or not it's relationships, whether or not it's any kind of teaching, which is beautiful. And that's the message. And I think, folks, this is what's really important. Some people who are coming on, some people who are looking at the tags and the titles that I put up and the individuals and their accolades are thinking, well, you know what? I'm not into that particular fitness line. I'm not into that particular health kick. No, this is about life, right? As you mentioned, Ben, this is about life and the way that we're dealing with individuals. And so I think it's beautiful, because if we can deal with people and we can deal with situations the way that you're explaining it right here, we'd have a far fewer problems. And I think it's just brilliant. Now, Ben, you mentioned something just a moment ago. You mentioned in reference to, and by the way, dude, I love your Barbra Streisand, your Martin Luther King, and your ISIS. Dude, just bring it. I love it, because you're using examples. It's sort of like you're researching and using these as examples so that people can relate. And I think it's beautiful. It's not, even though it's not politics, it is, right? Everything is about, politics is people. I mean, that's what it is. Fitness is people. That's what it's all about. And I think that's cool. It's great that you're bringing all this on board to help keep our relationship with the real world. Now, you had another quote on your site by John Amaichi. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Amaichi?
Yes.
Yes. Because you were mentioning just now how it's important to understand that you don't listen to the people who go too far, who are too radical, basically a bunch of bullshit. Okay.
Yeah.
What's your feeling about that particular quote that you put on your Facebook page, and how do you apply that to the things that are going around today?
That quote I love, because he said it on one of the talk shows when I think he was interviewed after he came out, and he mentioned, I can't remember what specific incident it was, whether it was the passage of gay marriage or one of the the discrimination bills in the US. I can't really remember the specific example, but what really grabbed me about that quote was how powerful people can be when they are truly themselves, and when they recognize the influence that they have in themselves when they are themselves. Yeah. And I think this comes back to group fitness as well, because one of the things that we teach is that we need to be authentically ourselves when on stage. When you put on a mask and you pretend to somebody else, it becomes a block. It becomes a sort of a barrier between genuine connection between you and the members. And that's so rare, because you have an opportunity in 1 hour to change that person's life for that day, for that week, even for that month. If you're not genuinely yourself, then what's the point? When you drop that mask and you can be authentically yourself, are you a genuinely caring person? Are you a very intensely motivating person? If you can embrace that, people will identify and they'll recognize that almost instantly. You can always tell when somebody's trying to bullshit you.
How can you tell? How can you tell, man? How can you tell us? You can, but how do we tell? You know, because you got people who, seriously, I'm sure that you could just stand up on stage, okay, and you could bring a cupcake with you, Ben. And you could take that cupcake, seriously, right? You could take that cupcake and go, today, we're going to learn an exercise that will change your life forever. Forget the weights, forget the steps. This one cupcake, when I show you how to create this cupcake, you will never need another group exercise class. And people would believe you, right? They would. Okay. How do we know, man? How do we know?
That's not a good example. And the cupcake people are going to hate me for saying this, but I am so anti-cupcake. Because it's just flour and sugar and tons of icing. It's so terrible for you. Okay, I'm going to get so much hate from cupcake people here.
Okay. So we don't use a cupcake, but literally you could stand. Okay, let me change something else. Okay, that has no product involved. You could stand on stage and go, okay, everyone, breathe in, breathe out. Great. Your class is done today. You will now lose 500 pounds over the next year. And people would believe it, right? So getting back to my question, how can the average person who is not the professional, how can they, or in any other field, how can we tell when we're getting thrown for a ride, in your opinion?
This is where it's hard, because some people are really good actors. That's why they have Academy Awards for those. I reckon is when you are true to yourself, it tends to attract people of the same characteristic. Or when you're, and I think that this has to come with life experiences. When you've been taken for a ride too many times, you would be cautious, you will be open, but yet you will be cautious. So I would say life experience allows you to have better judgment, hopefully, and that your bullshit meter will get better with age.
So is it right to say, Ben, that we actually have to fall in order to get back up again? There's nothing wrong with the failures as long as we learn something from it?
For sure. And you've brought up a really good point. There are people who are so afraid of failing that they don't even want to try, and then they don't get anywhere. And that's part of that John Amici quote, that you have to be genuine to yourself. Like, do you really want this? If you want this, you have to not be afraid of trying, not be afraid of failing, because you do realize that when you fail, you will learn something through that process that will help raise your chances of succeeding the next time. And I'm going to share this example. There was one performance that I did way back in college that I froze. I really, really froze on stage. I forgot my lines, and it was the most horrendous experience ever. I could literally see my life flash before my eyes, and I could see the audience just go, "What the heck is happening?" And I just walked off stage, and that experience has stuck with me all this while. And the thing I learned from that is be okay with freezing. Make a joke about it. Be more prepared the next time. Even if you freeze up again, acknowledge that brain fart. Nobody's going to to remember that you failed. Everybody's going to remember you for the humor that you used during that point in time where you were caught in that, oh my God, what the hell just happened? So don't be afraid of trying and failing.
I love it. I love it. That's so brilliant. And folks, if you're just now coming in, or if you're watching the replay, this is Bill's live broadcast, and we're here with Ben Tang, and we've been on for an hour now. And seriously, Ben, I did not realize it until I looked up at the clock. It just went bam like that, and we were just getting into it, dude. We're gonna have you back again. But what I loved about that, Ben, is you kind of like capped it with don't be afraid of trying, because, and then you shared that experience. So in terms of that fear, because that was actually one of the questions that I had for you, and it's right here in my notes. It's what's the most terrifying moment of your life? and you that
was probably one of them. And another situation.
Okay.
Because one of my other jobs is I work with Les Mills as well, and there are different levels of modules that we deliver, from the initial module where we train new instructors to advanced level module 1 and 2, where we go deeper into skill set and also the personality types and the connection I was telling you about. One of the most terrifying moments in my life was having to be in Shanghai, delivering the advanced level 2 module completely in Mandarin, which even though I speak, but it's just, oh my goodness. And I'm having these 30 fitness professionals in front of me, expecting me to throw words of wisdom in front of them. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? It's absolutely terrifying. But again, back to the point of, if you prepared enough, just jump in and know that, trust your instincts. Even if you fall, take a breath, recompose yourself, and that information will come to you.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Don't be afraid to fall. Take a breath and just keep going on. Ben, this has been remarkable, man. It's just been a lot of fun, you know. And what happened? Not that the other ones weren't fun, because I'm sure everyone else is going, "Well, wasn't mine fun?" Okay, it's been fun, but it's just going, and I love it. Okay, folks, this is Ben Tang, and he is Fitness Best Asia Award winner for the greatest guru in group fitness exercise training. Okay. And Ben, I'm gonna, before we let you go, Lila has written something here. Can you read that on the bottom there? She says, as an Asian and from Fitness Best Asia Awards family, listening to all the winners confirms time and time again, we have picked amazing heroes, your integrity and whatnot, Ben Tang, especially to me. So that is really cool. Thanks for that, Lila.
So cool.
And then, pardon?
That's so cool of Lila. Thank you, Lila.
Yes. And then she mentioned later, she's just cranking it out on here with comments. Yes. And then she has one more here. She says, bravo, you nailed it. You need both the weakness and strength of group fitness leaders and PT. Actually, Lila, that's pretty cool. Ben, we're going to have to give her kudos for that, man, because you didn't say it like that, okay? That last line.
She cut straight to the point.
Right?
There's no kudos with her.
Oh, but dude, you do too, man. All of you guys do. That's what's so brilliant about all this stuff. I love it. It's just amazing. Okay, Ben, it's been wonderful, dude. And I'm serious. I mean, we're gonna have to get together. We're gonna have to have some chats again. And if I don't, man, how can we actually get into one of your group fitness classes? Where are you? When are the classes? Go ahead and share with us, man. We need to know where you are.
I teach in Singapore for Fitness First, and I usually update my class schedules on my own personal Facebook page. I think Fitness Best actually linked to my Facebook page in their contestant profile, but I could always send a link to your page and post it there as well.
Okay, great. That'd be wonderful.
Yep.
Okay, great. There you have it, folks. And at the same time, one more last question, Ben. It's kind of like unfitness related, but you kind of started it off when you said you don't want to talk about politics. So when are you running for office? You're right there, man. You are right there. You wait.
Probably no.
What's that?
Okay, not in my lifetime. But then again, they are about to, is it Ireland or Scotland? I can't remember. One of the European countries might be about to elect their first ever immigrant gay person as a prime minister. So I don't know. Who knows?
There you go, dude. No, seriously, man. And I tell you what, I will be on your committee. Okay, I'll be right there, man. Seriously, I'll get out and go. You must vote for the big BT. All right, Ben Tang. Seriously, it's incredible. I mean, you have this aura, you have this ambiance, you have this charisma that is not only fitness oriented, but is life and community oriented. And I think it's beautiful. There could be no other apt person to have received this award. Okay.
Coming from you, that's a really big deal. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Ben, we're going to say goodbye. All right.
Right.
Sorry about that. I took you out of there too soon. Okay. All right. Ben, say goodbye to everyone. Ben Tang, folks. Okay. All right, Ben. We'll talk to you. Take care, man. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Folks, that was Ben Tang. This is Bill's live broadcast, and we're coming to you every week. We're focusing this 2 months on Fitness Best Asia Award winners, and that was Ben Tang. Go ahead and look him up, take his classes, vote for him when he runs for political office, but just go ahead and enjoy the experience of all the winners. Fitness Best Asia is really cranking it out, and as you can see, these people are riveting. Their messages are empowering, and it's important to understand that. I'm Bill Calhoun. Click follow, click share. We'll be with you again tomorrow now, okay, with Jason Chi. And you've seen those updates on that. Jason Chi is tomorrow at 12:30. We'll be back again. Share this, follow this, right on. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.